Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Monday, October the 15th. I'm Clay Emo at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. The Canucks are preparing to play the Penguins in Pittsburgh. Well, that's a lot of P's, a lot of alliteration. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, they're 2-2 on their 6-game road trip so far. Couple that with their home opening season win, and the Canucks are 3-2 on the season, 1 game over 500. You can check out yesterday's video, my video from yesterday, to talk about my reaction, looking at this Pettersson hit, this Matheson hit on Pettersson from a bunch of different angles, a bunch of different viewpoints. But today, I want to talk about ramifications. And one of them is, we heard from John Shannon from Sportsnet, talking to Jim Benning this morning, that Pettersson will indeed not play tomorrow night in Pittsburgh and not play Thursday night in Winnipeg, and then reevaluate him for his health, his concussion, when he gets back to Vancouver later this week. And I think that's fine. I think that makes a lot of sense. You'd rather him be, better safe than sorry. It sounds like he'll be traveling with the team, though. At least he's there in Pittsburgh with the team. So I'm not sure if he continues on to Winnipeg with them and goes home with them and stays with the team versus flying home first. Whatever it may be, he's with the team, and he's not playing in the next 2 games. And like I said, I think it is better safe than sorry, especially with a concussion. There's no rush. As much as fans, we want to see him continue his torrid pace, right? 8 points in 5 games, including 5 goals in those 5 games. But I'd much rather have him sit out 1 or 2 weeks or 3 weeks even and come back healthy and strong, as opposed to bringing him too early. And I think we've seen, with all the sensitivity around this Thatcher Demko story and his concussion and flying, the fact that Pettersson was able to fly from Florida to Pittsburgh is probably not the longest flight ever, but still a good sign. If they didn't want him flying, or if they thought his concussion was too severe to fly, then that would be a different story. But the fact that he's with the team still, although not playing for precautionary measures, I think that's a good sign, and I think there's a small sigh of relief for Canucks fans. So with Pettersson out, a couple changes. Obviously, that means one of the 2 healthy scratches, Leipzig or Mott, will draw in. That still means one of them will be on the outside looking in. And then also one other lineup change as well. Jay Beagle, it looks like he'll be out 5 or 6 weeks with a hand or arm injury. Suffered also in the Florida game. So Adam Gaudette from Utica has been called up, and he'll either slide right into that 4th line center spot. Likely he'll do that, or maybe he'll play up swap places with Brandon Sutter. But definitely Adam Gaudette will play in the bottom 6. Actually kind of intrigued to see Gaudette play with Virtanen, but we'll see if that happens. Virtanen's been playing on the 3rd line right now all season with Sutter. So we'll worry about that tomorrow, or maybe even later today when the Canucks practice in Pittsburgh. So that's one thing. The other thing, the other ramification from this Matheson hit on Pettersson, is Matheson is having phone hearing with the Department of Player Safety, the NHL Department of Player Safety today. A phone hearing means the maximum he'll get is 5 games when it comes to suspension, and or he'll receive a fine of $5,000 or more. My guess, my prediction, and I said this yesterday, is I think Matheson, I can't even say his name, maybe because I'm so mad at him, Mike Matheson will get 3 games. I don't think it'll be just 1, because I don't think that's setting for a strong enough statement. I'm not sure if it's going to get 4 or 5, because that's very strong. And yes, we don't like the hit, but it's kind of unprecedented. You don't see a lot of Undertaker choke slams during the NHL. So we'll see. If I had to guess, my guess would be 3 games for Mike Matheson. We talked about the lineup changes. We can confirm that once we see practice lines either today or game day skate lines tomorrow. And I'll probably check in with a quick video later today once the suspension or the punishment is announced and handed down. One other thing I want to talk about very quickly is Trevor Linden appeared on Sportsnet 6:50 this morning at 6 a.m. So I didn't get up, but I listened to the podcast, the replay in its entirety. Talked for about 20 minutes. He was there to promote a new Orange Theory Fitness, the new craze in fitness world. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not very fit. But yeah, I've heard a little bit about it. And of course, he talked about his departure from the Canucks and his legacy with the Canucks. And he didn't say anything that was very surprising. When asked about the Aquilinis, when pressed about Francesco Aquilini, Linden basically said he didn't want to get into the nuts and bolts of his relationship with Aquilinis. And then he changed the subject. He said, "I love the team, I love the city, I love a lot of people in the organization, and there are good things about being president, and there are a lot of tough things." And you can just hear in Trevor's voice, he sounds more relaxed, he sounds more at peace. He never sounded very comfortable in the 4 years that he was president. I've said that, looking at him, seeing him in interviews, meeting him in person a couple times, and listening to him on the radio, he never sounded completely at peace. I think he was confident. We can argue about his competence overall. I think he did an okay job. And one thing he did say is he's proud that he left the team in a better state than when he first got to it. And I think no one can argue that through the drafting of guys obviously like Besser and Pettersson and Quinn Hughes and Linden and Gaudette and Juolevi and everyone like that. Yes, the prospects, as we talked about, the cupboard is now stacked as opposed to bare. And granted, when he came in, the Canucks were right in a major transition, right? They just they gone through Alain Vigneault, they gone through Tortorella, they're bringing in Willie Desjardins, they're bringing in Jim Benning. All the older guys were starting to depart, get traded or whatever, or assigned elsewhere. So it was certainly a time of transition. All to say that when after I listened to this interview, I noticed that he didn't say much about Aquilini. He didn't say anything about Jim Benning. So I was kind of curious. I wonder if Trevor Linden's beef, if his philosophical differences were between Aquilini and or Benning, because you never know. We always have this picture of Linden on one side and Aquilini and Benning on the other side. So I put up a quick poll on Twitter, like I always do. I said, who was the major philosophical difference with Linden with? And I gave 3 choices. I said Aquilini, Benning, or Aquilini and Benning. And 60% of you are saying it was with Aquilini alone, 13% only saying it was with Benning, and 27% saying it was Aquilini and Benning. So you add in the 60 and the 27, that means 87% of you, 200 people voted, 87% of you said that it had to do with Aquilini, which makes a lot of sense, which makes sense why Trevor Linden hasn't really said much about him. In fact, I believe this was his first public media appearance since being let go at the end of July. So go to the Sportsnet 650 website if you want to hear it. It's a quick 20-minute interview. It's very light. It's good, though. It's nice to hear Trevor Linden, especially if you're a fan of him. It's nice to hear that he's in good spirits, good shape, and it sounds like he's at peace with his decision or not. It wasn't his decision. He's at peace with what happened, what transpired at the end of July. All right, Canucks fans, that's it for me for now. Got to get to work. So let me know what you think. Let me know, are you okay with Pettersson sitting for a couple days, a couple games? I presume you are, but that's Pettersson not playing for the rest of the road trip. What do you anticipate suspension or punishment for Mike Matheson? And if you had a chance to listen to the Linden interview, any further thoughts now that we're 3 months down the road since his July departure? Do you feel bad for him? Are you happy for him? And really, what do you think is at the beef with? What's the major? Do you believe that his major beef is with Aquilini as opposed to Benning, or do you think there's a bit of Benning thrown in there? Leave a comment below. I'd love to read it, react, and reply as always. And I appreciate your loyalty. Oh, one last thing, by the way, going to do my next live stream. Had a lot of fun doing that post-game live stream. Going to do the next one, not Tuesday night after Pittsburgh, but on Thursday night after the Winnipeg game. So join me here on YouTube after the Winnipeg Jets game on Thursday night. I'll be on for between 30 and 45 minutes immediately following the game. Going to do a YouTube live stream, post-game discussion on the Vancouver Canucks Winnipeg Jets. Not only that game, but talking about the 6-game road trip overall. And I'm guessing there's going to be a bit of Pettersson talking there as well. All right, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Give this video a like if you like what I'm doing on this channel. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.